Respawn Entertainment has once again struck Metacritic gold, teasing that infamous God tier that I always talk about, that upper 80 score. So close once again, this time with Jedi Fallen Order. But if you really look at Respawn Entertainment through the years, they have consistently delivered quality games that are universally praised. I know a lot of people, myself included, were a little rough on Titanfall, particularly for the Xbox One. I think we can all agree that when the Xbox One came out, it was a very different console and a very different time than it was today. Respawn Entertainment did not have a lot of hardware to work with, and yet they somehow found a way to make a fun, engaging multiplayer shooter. They took that knowledge and they added a phenomenal single-player campaign with Titanfall 2, and they kept in that amazing multiplayer experience. I played the hell out of that game on my Xbox One X. I loved it. I loved it. We moved on to Apex Legends, and that also scored phenomenally well, and now we're sitting with an 86 Metacritic currently, and it could go up or down, but that's a pretty good indication of what the press feels with Jedi Fallen Order sitting at an 86. And that is awesome. So I'm very happy for Respawn Entertainment. I think they're one of the good ones. They're definitely a game studio that definitely seems to take their time. They're not rushing out a game every 5 minutes, and the games that do come out have a nice level of polish and love put into them that I think is clearly indicated by their pretty good Metacritic scores. Now, I haven't yet played Fallen Order. I do have it for PC. I will definitely be diving into it this weekend, and I didn't want to rush an early first look or anything. I want to just take my time and enjoy the game and not worry about rushing out a video, saying what I like and what I don't like. There'll be plenty of time for that later. I'll be curious. This is pretty much for me, other than Death Stranding, this is really the last new game that I'm going to be getting this year. And I'll be curious to see how that shapes up my game of the year predictions and my personal game of the year, which we'll see if Brent wants to do a podcast with me. If not, I'll be doing it here on my channel. And I'll be laying out what is my game of the year, which right now is a pretty solid first place. We'll see if something can shake it up. Maybe Death Stranding, maybe Fallen Order could do that. But we'll worry about that later. For now, I think it's important we all celebrate and congratulate Respawn Entertainment. They have taken something that seemingly should be a very simple task. Make a fun Star Wars game. And they've actually delivered. EA has had an incredibly difficult time with this over the past years. We know all the debacles with Battlefront 2 and the loot chests and that whole mea culpa and rebranding of that game. So for Respawn Entertainment to make their own game that is received well without microtransactions or any of that, just a nice, fun, single-player experience Star Wars game, I think that's awesome. Last piece of news, you may or may not be aware, is that Respawn did not use the Frostbite Engine. And one of the criticisms that Electronic Arts has had over the years is they really have forced all of their studios to shoehorn their game products into the Frostbite Engine. And I have read a litany of articles from a lot of famous gaming journalists and developers via Twitter talking about how bad it is to work with this Frostbite engine and how frustrating it is and how it was designed for one thing, but EA just keeps changing and forcing people to change the source code to make it work for their game, and it's not meant for that. Anthem is a perfect example of that. And although I think Anthem is a beautiful game, the content isn't there. That's not a problem with Frostbite. That has nothing to do with the engine. But the point is that game had a very difficult development cycle because Electronic Arts was so ham-fisted in forcing all of their studios to use their proprietary gaming engine. And that makes sense. You know, they're trying to make money. They're trying to say, hey, we've already developed a product with, you know, this engine. We want you to use it and make it better. But it's clear through the years that that has not happened. So the fact that Respawn Entertainment said no and went back to use the more commonly known Unreal 4 engine, I think says a lot. And the game looks great. And I hope that for the future as we see what else Electronic Arts continues to release. Hopefully they have learned their lesson and they've let the game studios be their own boss in a sense and use the tools that are best for them. And clearly, look at the score. So it's working. So we'll see if this is a new leaf for Electronic Arts as a whole. Respawn Entertainment, unsurprisingly, once again has figured out how to strike gold. And I think most of the fans of Star Wars will be very satisfied with this game. I will give you guys my full opinions in the coming days or week or so when I get around to it. Until then, I hope you guys have a phenomenal weekend wherever you are. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.